Hey guys, CODENUM this side, and this video is the fifth continuation of the Java tutorial series. In this series, I talk about some of the basic workings and functions which you can do in Java. So, with that said, let's start to this video. So, have you ever thought that what will you do if you are told to execute one statement over and over, like say 10 times? Then what will you do? So, one of the basic answers you may give is that I will just copy the statement 10 times and it will just work fine. So, yeah, it will work fine, but there are some fallacies in this process. First one is that if I say that you have to execute the line 100 times or 200 times, like that, anything, a big number, then you have to just copy and paste that statement that number of time, 100 or 200. And if the program is that complicated, then this process will lead to crashing of the program. You will be totally lost and the program may also be crashed. So it's an inefficient way of programming. The another biggest fallacy, which is that if I say that you have to execute the line n number of times, then what will you do? Because you cannot just write the program n times, so here you are stuck. So this process is not good, and here's where the loop thing comes in. So basically you got it. The loop thing, the loop statements take one statement or a bunch of statements and executes it through n number of times. Now the n times can be specified by the programmer during the programming, or it can be specified by the user during runtime. So this is the basis on which a loop works in any programming language, not only in Java. In any language, loops are for this type of uses. So there are three types of loops in Java. The first one is the for loop. So let's take a look on it. So this is the structure for loop. It you have to write for first, and then it takes three parameters. Okay. The first one is the variable initialization. Here you can write any variable. You can initialize any variable like this. Like you can write int a equals 0, like this. You can do anything, or you can just omit this line. If you don't want to initialize any variable, you can just don't write anything. So it's that simple. After that comes the condition. So this place actually works like this. After every execution of this statement in the loop, the control or the program checker, what you say, goes to this condition and checks it like an if statement. And if the condition is true, then it again enters the statement, means it again enters the loop, and if it's false, then it just exits loop. Okay, so the condition is like a gate for the loop. If it's true, the loop will work. If it's false, the loop will not work. And the last is the increment. It can be increment, it can be decrement. So what is this? Is basically there are two types of unary operators in Java. First one is the plus plus, and the second one is the minus minus. So what they do is, let's say we take a variable a equals 1. So if I write plus plus a, the value of a will increase by 1 and it will become 2. And if I write minus minus a, then it will just decreased by 1 and the a will become 0 here. So this unary operators just increases or decreases the value. So in loops it's very handy for being a counter or like that. And here is a statement. It can be one statement, it can be a bunch of statements, I said before. And this is the structure of the for loop. Now let's see some actual workings. So let's open BlueJ. So I've created a loop class, but it's totally empty. So we are going to create a very basic for loop statement, for loop program. So our aim would be to take a range, let's say from 1 to 10, and then print all the even numbers between them. So it's very easy program. Let's do it. We have to write for, and then we have to write the variable. Here it is needed. Let's say int I equals 1. Now for the condition part, we are going to keep our range, let's say to 20. So let's write I less than equals 20, and at last the increment part we are going to write I plus plus. So it will just increase the value of I after every execution. Now the parameter part is done, so we can enter the statement part. Just give the brackets. Yeah. Now inside the statement we are going to write an if statement, and inside if we are going to write I then modulus 2 equals to 0. So this modulus thing just divides the first number by the second number and gives the remainder as the output. And as we know that any even number when divided by 2 gives remainder as 0. So if the remainder is 0, then we can print this number. So here system dot out dot print ln, and then one I, and this will do. So here's our program ends. Now just take a look. Sorry. So it's printing 2, 4, then 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So all the even numbers are printed, including including 20. If you want to exclude 20, then just remove the equals to, and this is the previous render. So here's node 20 now. So this is how we write for loop. This is all about the for loop parameters, the for loop structure, and this is a very basic for loop program. So now the second type of loop is the while loop. So let's take a look at the structure. So it's very simple. It's simpler than the for loop. First we have to write while, and then inside brackets we have to write a condition on which the program will be executed. So let's say we have a condition, then at the starting the loop will check that condition, and if it's true then the loop will only work, otherwise the loop will not work. It will move to next line after the loop. And this is all about while loop. There is no variable initialization, there is no increment decrement, but yes, you can do it manually inside this loop. At the ending you can just write anything a plus plus, and if it will just work like that. Or if you want the variable initialization, then you can just write int something equals int a equals 0, and it's all about that. It's same. So take care that any loop can be changed into another loop just by changing some structures. At the end we can give the increment, and at the start we can give the variable. It just works like a for loop. So now let's see a program for the while loop. So our aim will be to take any number, say 57, and then see that which multiple of 57 is less than 10,000, nearest less than 10,000. Okay, and we will see the multiple which is nearest to 10,000 less than it, and the number of times 57 is multiplied to get that number. Okay, so for achieving this we will be using while loop. So let's first declare some variables. Say int num equals 57, it's our number, and then say not int, long product equals 1l, because if we do not write the 1l, then it will always be 0 and the product of 0 by anything is 0, so it will not work, the l will be small. Okay, and at last the iteration number n equals 1, and now we are good to go. So let's write while another condition. So our condition is simple: while the product is less than 10,000, the loop will work. So just write while product is less than 10,000, and then we can write the statements. So just write product equals n star num. Okay. And then after every execution, at last just increase the n by 1, so this will increase the product value and we can get the number of iteration and the greatest multiple. Okay, and after the loop is executed, we have to print the multiple. Now we have to run the program, but the program will make some problems. Let's see. Yes, the multiple is 10,032, whereas we need a multiple less than 10,000, so there is some problem. So what's the problem? So the problem is here that the program checks that the product is less than 10,000, it's okay, but after that the product gets multiplied and then the number is increased, is greater than 10,000, but the program doesn't checks it, doesn't reduces it at the last. It sees that the number has been greater, so just exit the loop. So to reduce it, we have to write n minus 1, and here we can write product equals n minus 1 star num. So now the program is perfect. Now if we run, oh it's n, sorry, it will be star. Yes. Now see, the multiple is 10,032. No, it shouldn't. It should be in minus 2. Yes, now it's okay. It should be n minus 2 because see, say the number was something less than 10,000, say x, then it was x, the program says yes, it's less than 10,000 and it enters. Now the number becomes greater than 10,000, say y. Okay, it becomes something called y, and now beforehand the n had been increased by 1. Okay, and now it's again increased by 1, so it has been increased twice after the number is greater. So to reduce it, we have to decrease it by 2. It's a bit complicated, but not too much. So that's not our business now. So this is the structure in which you have to write while loop, and the last loop is called the do while loop. It's as same as the while loop, just the thing is a bit different. It's while loop, but see, the while loop is at the ending. So the structure is like that. You have to write do, then the statement, and at last while. Okay, so if we compare it with the while loop, then here the condition is checked at the beginning, but here the condition is being checked at the ending. Okay, so the loop enters, the statement gets executed, and then at the ending the loop checks the condition. If it's true, then the loop again goes to a top and executes, and if it's false, then it just exits. So one of the biggest difference between do while loop and while loop is, in do while loop the statement is at least executed once, but in while loop the statement may not be executed at least once also. If the condition is false at the beginning, the loop will not at all work. But here, if the condition is also false at the beginning, still the statement will work at least once because it's before the condition. And everything in while loop is like that. We have to write like this: do, then some statement, and then at last the while, then some condition. And this is the structure of do while loop. So this is all about today's video. I hope you liked this video, and if you did so, then make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more this kind of tutorial videos. And with that said, thanks for watching.